an avatar is born, so to speak. So when a being wakes up at the level of consciousness of the which is at the 12th dimension, that's then also a Christ. That's what they call a Christed being, or the Christ. The Christ is also a certain sacred geometry again of the Merkaba. It's also called the Christ is actually a Merkaba. And that is when a being becomes aware completely of itself as the 144 souls that it is. And it's at the bottom of when it begins to, and again I'm looking at number 5 here on a pole. I'm walking outside. When it begins to then start to dip into the Rishi consciousness, which is the last 3 dimensions, I guess for Aoi, I'm not exactly sure, but this is the 15-dimensional concept or sacred geometry of the 15-dimensional time-space matrix. Yes, this is this wisdom, this understanding, this knowledge that came from the cloister Dora, Tura. So there we have, well, I'm going to pick that apart another time, but they're called, this is the name, and they're plates. They're 12 platen plates that are also in dimension, but they can show up in the physical as well. And okay, so that's where that, and they apparently are the eldest book, in quote, in parentheses, book, but it's not really a book, but like objects that contain the knowledge of who are we, what is this, who am I, what is existence, what is the universe, that these kinds of, they're called books of life. So 144 individual souls. Now this is so, imagine how powerful an avatar then is, being aware of oneself as you are in one body, of all the other. Oh, and by the way, it's 288, remember, because it's twins. These are 144 twin souls, so it's actually 288 individual souls that are one. They are one soul, they are one being, but 288 bodies. And so when an avatar is born, that avatar realizes him or herself as all of the others as well. That's when the 12th dimension, that's a Christed being, that's when it's full. Like that, the revolutions in the 12th dimensional torus field, which entails all the ones below, they have been completed. And then then it's like, okay, dying to that old being, and it's again going through the Yod-He Vod-He, through the tunnel, and death and rebirth, into the next, and this is in consciousness. So you stay in the same body, because that's what ascension is, that you take your body with you. But you can also, at that point, you can shift your body and choose your body. So it's different. And and then it opens up to the next higher consciousness, which is called Rishi consciousness. Which brings us to, we're going to take a short tangent of the Rishis in the Himalayas. Let these children, hi, pass. So the Rishis in the Himalayas, they are in the Himalayas. There are caves, huge caves, where apparently, this is all, I mean, you can research this. the orders of the monks, of the Tibetan monks, they are there also to guard these caves. And they're so I read this book from this Russian researcher, or I don't know, explorer, and he went there and he talked to one of the monks. Interesting. Okay, so I'm looking at a flag with a pirate on it, and so he has one eye is closed, so that brings me back again to the one thine eye be single. Yeah, the eye patch, yeah. Okay, so Odin, yes, brings us to Odin as well. Anyways, this scientist who was like very interested in these rishis that were sitting in the Himalayan caves, he went to the Himalayas. He found one of the monks who was in this sacred and secret. It's oftentimes very similar, because the sacred had to go into the secret, because it was, in the times of after the parasiticals arrived, the takers, they're not connected into the living torus of light anymore. They are parasiticals. They pull it out. They densify the light. They pull it out. They live off of the energy of others. To take care of these rishis, or to guard the caves. Some of those beings that are sitting there, first of all, they're not all human, and some of them, they've been sitting there for thousands of years in meditation, keeping their bodies alive. There's alive bodies, but they're sitting in meditation, and the deepest meditation. They're running the Rishi currents. They're running the 13, 14, 15 dimensional consciousness through their awareness. And they're holding that frequency on Earth, anchored on Earth. So the scientist truly, he tried. He was shown the entrance to one of the Rishi caves, and by the best of his abilities, he tried many times. He could not enter, even though there was an opening, but he could not enter because of the energy. He could not pass. He was not, he was not mature in his consciousness. He could not enter that field of consciousness, and it was literally like repelling him. And this is not like a protective zone. It's not like that they put, like they have, apparently they have this in some of the openings to inner Earth, which is already in 5D, and they do have protective energetic measures there.